inside the ruin was a single stone that would change the course of our history forever. On the stone was etched a galactic map and a single word more ancient than the clans themselves. Hiigara, our home.
One of the vacancies in my gaming history, well, there are many, frankly. One is Homeworld. This is a game exclusively for the PC, and this was a game that everybody wrote about and talked about for ages, and I always thought, oh, you know, one of these days I'm going to go back to Homeworld, and now I have an excuse to go back to Homeworld.
Why did you have to say it in that voice?
That's the voice I use when I have to go back to things, you know, and then, so we're back at Homeworld. It's not 1998, it's not 2003. This is a real-time strategy game for the PC, and boy, this thing doesn't hold back here.
There are not really big training wheels on this game.
No, there's a big training section, though.
There is a tutorial for sure that's going to get you into this game.
It's like 7 hours just to get through the training.
It takes about 2 missions before you realize, holy crap, this thing is way too complicated for me to deal with right now.
Yeah, that's exactly my experience. How'd you know? Were you in my living room?
Because I had that experience when I played through this thing for the first time. But
you were alive in 1998?
I was, yeah. And reviewed it on the show as well.
Frigate under attack. Mobile refinery under attack.
The technology on display, certainly back in 1998 and still here in 2015, is all impressive across the board. But what's really impressive for me is how much heart there is in this campaign.
Orbital target acquired.
I'm not a huge RTS fan. I like turn-based strategy games. I don't like having to constantly keep doing stuff while the computer's doing stuff, or your opponent is doing stuff, because there is multiplayer here.
Because there is second-by-second humiliation happening.
I don't enjoy that at all. But I did appreciate the story here and how mature we had mature games like this back in 1998.
Man. How did the BSG team that made the show not play this like crazy and borrow so much liberally from it? Because it does feel, especially now, I mean, the voiceover work, the music is incredible, the writing is deep, and
the ship design.
And we're facing a lot of these kinds of concepts as a society in the world right now. You know, we're talking about space travel and finding other Earths and all this stuff. So it feels even more topical, more timely, and just as incredibly artful and fulfilling, all remastered in this collection. You don't get all of the expansion packs. Apparently some of the expansion packs were lost by the developers that worked on the game. They lost actually the code, so they couldn't recreate some of the stuff.
It could be in a dumpster behind the Relic office. Let's check.
No, it wasn't the Relic team, but it really is amazing that it was Relic that worked on this, and they also worked on Company of Heroes, because they've really defined, I think, the best that RTS can be out of this city, out of Vancouver. And God, it's so great to jump back into these titles. And if you're like Scott and you've never experienced them before, I really, even though they're tough, and they're time-consuming, I urge you to give them a shot, because they're beautiful.
I knew you would, and I knew you were going to say all of these things, and you're not wrong. You're absolutely right. But I do feel like what this game asks from you as a gamer is a lot. It's a lot. If you're married, if you have kids, if you have a family, if you have a meaningful relationship, you probably can't have any of those things and get into this, because this feels almost like a religion. It feels like something you have to worship at the altar of Homeworld, and that's the only way you're going to start getting good things back from this game.
Both games are superb. If you've ever had the aspiration to feel like Commander Adama, this is your game, and I love them individually. I love them even more as a package 10 for me.
I love you. Only gets a 7 for me.